finish or it'll end it. Go ahead and refresh the page. There you go. Give it a moment to think. There you go. It usually fixes it right away.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for that slight delay. We use some technology that sometimes likes to be a little bit tricky, and that's what I was doing this morning. My name is Maya Milhan, and I'm going to be giving you guys a tour of our Northwest campus today. Our Northwest campus is in Surprise off of Dysart and Grand, and this is actually our largest campus. West-MEC has 4 total. We have 28 programs across our 4 campuses, and you're going to see a really great sampling of all of those here today. So just a little bit of things about West-MEC before we get started. We are a high school district, so all the programs you're going to see here today are something that students can take in addition to high school classes. Normally students come to us for about 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week for the most part, and all of our programs are certification-based career training programs. So these are all really getting students ready for jobs after really completing our program and after graduating high school. These are all going to be very hands-on, so students can get a way to really get that preparation for jobs by practicing that with us in high school. Like I said, we have 28 programs total. This campus doesn't have every program. All of our campuses kind of have a little bit of each of that so that it's across the district, 28. So one thing for you guys to know is if there's something that you're really interested in that you don't see here today, check our website to see if we have it at another of our campuses. But many of these programs can be a great kind of first step to get students ready for jobs after finishing with us here today. So with that, like I said, this is our Northwest campus in Surprise. We also have one in North Phoenix off of I-17 in Deer Valley. We have one in Buckeye off of I-10 in Verrado, and we have one in Glendale off of really about Glendale Avenue and 107th Avenue. So that's West-MEC as a whole. We're going to go ahead and check out some programs here today. I know Kaylee already typed in the chat, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to just type those in, and we'll be able to answer those as we see them come in. And if you have any issues or questions, feel free to let us know, and we'll see what we can do to address those. So I'm going to come over and grab the camera here. Ooh, okay. Alrighty. So the first program that we have here today is our medical assisting program. So this program is a 2-year program. Many of our programs are going to be, excuse me, my allergies are getting me today. Many of our programs are going to be 2 years, and that means that students would apply for our programs as a sophomore and then attend with us junior and senior year. So for many of these, that's how things are going to work with the kind of timing of things. We do have some 1-year programs that students would take just senior year as well. So medical assisting does cover quite a bit of information. So over here, we have these chairs that you've probably seen before in a doctor's office or an urgent care or something like that. So as you have probably already guessed, this is for blood draws. So when somebody comes to get their blood drawn to have a test done, they are going to sit in a chair like this. The phlebotomist will come in and actually use the needles and everything to take their blood in this chair position. So we have some fake arms over here that students can start learning all the different veins and how to really draw blood on this fake arm. But then we do practice blood draws, phlebotomy, on each other in this class as well. So it is definitely something that if you're interested in the medical industry, it's a great first step for this program. You do need to be really pretty comfortable with some bodily fluids and needles and things of that nature because that will be a component of it. Then over here, we have what you might see more in like a hospital or even a doctor's office. So these beds are really going to have all of the different tools and instruments that you would see an actual doctor or a medical assistant or maybe a physician's assistant use. So students learn how to use all of these different instruments, how to set up this area, how to clean this area, and really make sure that it is prepared for a different exam. And you'll see that we have quite a few of these spaces. So this really does operate just like you would see in an actual job setting. So just like you would see in a doctor's office or an urgent care. We have 24 students per teacher, so they'll be in this area working these different stations. The teacher will come through and see if they have any questions or issues or things like that. Students do learn how to take vitals, so you'll see this blood pressure kind of set up over here. We have our thermometer. Those vitals are really important to make sure that they're done correctly, so we have an accurate kind of baseline for a patient. And then we do also have some other specialized machines that we use as well. Another thing that we do cover in this program is anatomy and understanding the different systems of the body and really what that means if it's working properly or if it's not working properly as well. From this program, students look at jobs as like a doctor or a nurse or medical assistant. So it depends on the student's next step, but this is a great first step for students to be able to get that experience to then go further into the medical industry. The next program we have here is through these doors. Alrighty. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So this program is our Biomedical Science program. So this is actually the classroom side, and then back here we have our lab, so we'll go check that out in just a second. In here, though, you see some of these DNA helixes. So a big component of biomedical is understanding really how the body works and all those different systems. So DNA and blood typing and different diseases and illnesses that might be affecting someone, and understanding how to identify that and diagnose that, and also different treatments for those as well. So this is a big deal because people are always getting sick. There's always new conditions that we are working with. So it's important that we have people in this biomedical field to be able to help us with that. In this back area, this is really the lab setting. So for medical assisting, when you're looking at that, you'll see that it is more kind of like patient-centered, right? So that's something that you're interacting directly with patients. You're interacting in a setting that is much more like a doctor's office or somewhere with those live patients. This obviously looks pretty different, and that's because from biomedical science, instead of working directly with patients, you're working in a lab setting directly with samples. So where medical assisting is a little bit more figuring out what symptoms somebody's exhibiting and kind of that diagnostic side of things, biomedical is really looking and analyzing at different samples to determine what illness or disease somebody has, and then also determining a treatment type for them. So you'll see that we have these hoods. So this allows us to look at different samples in a controlled environment. So if they are potentially contagious or they have some sort of gas or something that's dangerous, this allows us to look at that. You'll see that we have lots of different microscopes and beakers and test tubes over here. So this really is a lot of different scientific procedures and analyzing. So instead of more patients and scrubs, this is more microscopes and white coats in the lab. We still do cover a lot of anatomy, so you'll see all of these different skeletons. This different colored components is actually clay. So this is something that the students have put on all of these structures. So everyone looks a little bit different based off of what that student was working on and their really kind of way that they went about it. You'll see that this one has different anatomy labeled. So you'll have like the clavicle and the rib cage. So this is really where we start learning about that anatomy and applying it on an actual skeleton. It's important for us to still know the different structures of the body and how that works, because to be able to accurately treat it, we have to understand really what we're working with. So that's biomedical science. Both medical assisting and biomedical science are 2-year programs. So these will be programs that normally students are going to take junior and senior year. While we're walking to our next program, we do have some students that will look at a 2-year program that are already a junior potentially or a senior. And in that instance, students still can look at these programs. It's just much more affordable for you to be able to complete these programs before you graduate. So essentially, when you're a high school student, the state pays for your education. So when you live in our boundaries, which I know that we have some Pendergast schools here today, and Pendergast is one of our boundary districts. So if you come to West-MEC as a Pendergast student, or you live in the Pendergast boundaries, then the only thing you pay is a registration fee. So for both of those programs we just saw, the registration fee is $125. If you look at this program after graduating, or if you live outside of boundaries, it is more expensive because the state isn't paying for your education at that point. So just some little pieces for you to be aware of. If you have any questions about that, let us know. Okay, so this next lab is actually a brand new program. So we are going to have our first ever students in this program this fall. This is our nursing services program. So the difference between medical assisting and nursing services is, one, nursing services is a 1-year program where medical assisting was 2. Then the other thing is medical assisting is more working in a doctor's office with the very kind of have a patient come in, have the exam, potentially take a sample to be analyzed, send that off, and then the patient leaves. Nursing services, you're at a site where you're caring for a patient for an extended amount of time, whether that's just a little bit of time here and there or longer. It really depends on the setting. But the other thing to know is with that comes some other things. So there's the personal hygiene. You do have to sometimes help people use the bathroom. There's some bodily fluids that you'll encounter. You'll encounter all different age groups, all different settings. So we have lots of different really kind of dummies here that we get to interact with for these different really skills that we're learning. So you'll see here, rather than just a little exam room, this is really set up to be more a hospital room where somebody would potentially be staying for an extended period of time. Nursing is a huge, huge thing, and really across our nation, we need lots of people that are interested in caring for others, especially right now. We have a huge demand for this. This program will be a great opportunity if you wanted to be a nurse or go to nursing school. This program, the certification, is a LPN, so it's a licensed nurse essentially. LNA, licensed nurse assistant, whereas medical assisting is registered medical assistant. So this is really leading specifically to that nursing track. So if that's a goal for you, then this one might be a great fit for you. Either one is a great option if you're interested in the medical industry. Alrighty. So now we are going to move throughout our campus. This campus is quite large, so we're going to take you on a little bit of a golf cart ride today. So between the campus or between the buildings, I'll be a little bit quiet just because I know that there's going to be some wind noise. And then I'll join you again when we get to the next program. Alrighty. Okay, welcome to our next building. So this program that we're going to be seeing is dental assisting, which just walking into the lab, you probably have an idea of exactly what we're going to be talking about in here. So dental assistants work alongside really dentists and dental hygienists in a dentist's office. So essentially the dentist is the one that goes to school for a really super long time. The dental hygienist has a few years in college essentially. And then the dental assistant is a certification-based position that you can do just from a dental assisting school like this one. So this program is a 2-year program, and we learn, very similar to medical assisting, how to use all these implements, how to set this exam room area up, but then we also do learn x-rays. So you've probably seen these before at your dentist office with these weighted covers. We learn how to take different impressions of teeth so that we can make retainers and things like that, but then also the anatomy of the mouth, how teeth grow, how to polish teeth, all of those components as well. So really the dental assistants work alongside dentists and dental hygienists to keep really the dentist office moving. This is a great program if you want to be a dental assistant, obviously, but also if you want to go into dental hygiene or be a dentist or an orthodontist. This is a way to start in this industry right out of high school, potentially. So we have quite a few chairs. Over here we have our panoramic x-ray. So this will move around your whole head and take one big picture of your mouth. And then back here we have the component of really the dentist office that you don't normally see quite as much. So when we take impressions, if you haven't had that yet, that's where they take a really kind of gummy substance almost, and they mix it in these bowls. They put it into a little tray that you bite down on, and then it hardens into a perfect mold of your mouth. So it's really important for retainers and things like that. So we'll do those impressions and retainers and things over there. These are our sanitizers. So this is kind of like a specialized dishwasher. So in here we can put all those instruments, and it runs a cycle to sanitize them. And then when they're sanitized, they get bagged like this so that they are clean when we use them. We have all the different trays and everything that you might see and all the different instruments. So this is where we really prepare things and get them ready for being used in really the exam area. So that's dental assisting, again, 2-year program. Some of our programs are replicated over multiple campuses, and this is one of those. So this program, as well as medical assisting, are located at 2 campuses. The other one is Southwest campus. Medical assisting is actually also offered at our Northeast campus in North Phoenix as well. So this morning we do have some students on campus from our law and public safety program. They're doing some scenarios and drills, so we're going to try and avoid them where we can so we don't disrupt them too much. Good morning. Good, how are you? Good. Okay, so our next program is hairstyling. And as we're walking down this hallway, these are actually our classrooms behind this dark glass. That's what they look like. And this glass actually acts kind of like a mirror. So it looks really dark from our side, but then on the inside, then they have another mirror to kind of look at their work. So hairstyling is for students that really want to go into hair and be hairstylists. So we have lots of different things that we work on. So we'll do everything from your typical haircut or color styles or treatments to even some fun colors. So you'll see that this was our before for this mannequin head, and then this is what the end product was. And this was one of our students from this program. So we learn all about coloring and cutting and styling and all those different techniques. This is actually pretty interesting because this program does cover some things that you might not expect. So we talk about chemistry, because when we're coloring hair, it's a chemical reaction, and we have to understand how to use those chemicals correctly. We talk about electricity, because really styling hair with heat is important that we're using those properly. I'm going to go turn on the lights over here for us. Okay. So this is our lab for our hairstyling program. This program, like I said, is haircut, color, style, you name it. So we have our wash bowls to prepare hair. Each of these little mirrored areas has a booth that our students can use. So every student is assigned to an area to work. Over here we have our product area. So we have color, we have shampoo, conditioner, everything that they need back here. And then the interesting thing about this program is students will, once they learn something new, they'll actually come out here and really do that. Now, whether that's on a live client or on a mannequin head will depend. So we have some mannequin heads over here. So you'll see that it looks like they're working on updos. So they're all a little bit different. Some have sparkles, some have curls. So this lab space does allow this to work as an actual salon. So normally right now with COVID, things are a little bit different, but we can actually have community members come in to get their hair cut, colored, and styled in this setting. So normally we would have this, really the afternoons, this would work just like great clips and things like that you see to go get your hair done. Normally the first year of this program is going to be a little bit more time spent with the mannequin heads, because if you mess up, it's totally fine. Then the second year of the program is a little bit more time with live clients. This is an example of some other things that are in process. So this is working on a perm. So we do truly work on a little bit of everything in here. This is a certification from the State Board of Cosmetology, so students can work in a salon immediately after finishing this program, which is really awesome. Just a quick side note is, so some of our programs are a little bit more expensive. This is one of those. So we have a kit that students take with them from this program. So it has shears, mannequin heads, product, it has the cape, it has blow dryer, it has straightener, curling irons, everything that you would need to be successful in a salon you're taking with you from this program. So it's actually $825 instead of $125. I know that sounds super expensive, but honestly, in the scheme of things, it is quite a deal for you. And a lot of these programs after really high school are anywhere from around $6,000 to $10,000 all the way up to $30,000. So $825 is a huge, huge benefit for you guys. And we do have scholarships and grants to help with that as well. Alrighty, so we're going to go upstairs here, see our next program. Okay, what's the question?
What days and times do students come?
Great question. Normally, it is Monday through Friday. The times are a little bit more complex. So many of our programs, for 2-year programs, the first year is from 4 until 6:30, and the second year is from 1 until 3:30. Some of our programs are a little bit different. We try to have a variety so that we can really work with students that have different schedules or have different commitments. So some programs are in the morning, some are more mid-morning, but that's normally the time frame. If you're interested in a program specifically,
you can look at our website, which is west-mec.edu, and we have a program page for every program that lists the times and everything, or you can just type it in the box and I can tell you exactly what times it is. Okay, let's go to the next program. Looks like we've got some students over here. So this is our physical therapy lab. So this is a one-year program designed for students to learn how to interact with physical therapy technicians and physical therapists and physical therapy assistants to really be able to provide physical therapy in a setting for someone. So we have lots of different things here. Really, physical therapy, if you haven't had that before, is different exercises to help you build up some strength after an injury to be prepared for really daily life again. So we have all of these different instruments and equipment. We also do have in here things that we might see in like a hospital or a rehab center, because sometimes physical therapy is something where you're really in a hospital bed still, or you have to work with a wheelchair and things like that. So we want to make sure that students are prepared to interact with those things. But essentially, students learn all of these different equipments and all of the different stretches and exercises and workouts and how that impacts the body. So we learn a lot about the muscular system and the skeletal system and how those exercises kind of impact things, how we can sometimes change things, called modify things, so that if it's a little bit too challenging or somebody's in a lot of pain from a specific exercise, it can still be beneficial for them, but it's not going to be quite as hard. So that's what we have here. You'll see that we have quite a bit on our board for different exercises that they're doing. The students learn all of this by really completing those exercises themselves. So we have a stretching machine kind of thing. We have little stairs to help in an instance where walking upstairs might be a challenge. All different tables. And this just allows us to work in a variety of different settings. We also do talk about pain management for this program, so using heat and ice essentially. So if somebody's really, after surgery or something, they're just having a lot of swelling and a lot of pain, we can help them understand what they could do to really relieve that a little bit more. So that is physical therapy. Thanks for sharing your lab with us. So no problem. Alrighty. You can get a pretty good view of campus from here. So by the end of the tour, we're going to be all the way down there to the very far end of the campus. These virtual tours, you actually guys have a bit of a benefit because you don't have to make all this walk. It's about a quarter mile from one end of the campus to the other. So there's quite some steps that we get in on these tour days. Alrighty. Okay, what's the question?
Do we help kids find jobs?
Great question. Yes, we do. So we have a career services department that works with different employers. So for students that are interested in getting a job after completing with us, they know of different jobs available. Every student does go through a mock interview process, and every student will leave with a professional resume. So if they're interested in that next step being jobs, we will do everything we can to help them. A fair amount of our students do go to college or some sort of other predefined path, But a lot of our students are looking at job options, whether that's part-time or full-time, and we will definitely help them with that. Great question. So this next program, all those flashing lights and stuff, is our IT security program. So this is another 2-year program. IT security is a big one right now since we do have so much really reliance on technology as we do this completely virtually today, right? So in this program, students learn all about how to design and build computers. So in the very far wall here, we have a shell essentially of a computer that students will learn all the different components and build that. They learn then how computers talk to each other. So that's what this big tower with all the flashing lights is for. So this is called a server. And this creates essentially a Wi-Fi network that we can use specifically for this program. That's a protected network. The students are the ones that maintain this. They'll add any new components. The teachers sometimes get tricky and unplug things, and students have to figure out why it's not working. So the students really do interact a lot with that. And then from there, we get into the security component. So really the big thing that we want to start talking about towards that security component part of the program is how to look for loopholes that people like hackers are looking for to be able to break into a system and steal information. So we have to really think like a hacker for that. So it's called ethical hacking. Essentially, you're looking for the exact same loopholes as hackers, but instead of breaking into the system and stealing information, you go into the back end of the system and make that loophole stronger so that the information is protected. Companies pay a lot of money to protect that information because one leak of personal information really impacts that company's credibility. We have a lot of information stored online, so this is something that's a big one. There's lots of jobs in the tech industry any day of the week right now, but there's definitely some really interesting, exciting opportunities in the cybersecurity realm. So that is IT security. This one does have a master key door, so I won't be able to go in there because it's locked. But you can see some of the desks. We do provide a computer for every student, so you don't have to feel like you have to bring your own computer or anything. We have everything that you need in this classroom essentially for you. So that's IT security, and again, this is a 2-year program. Oh, I love the questions. What's the question?
Do we offer engineering classes?
Great question. So engineering, we have 2 programs that are kind of pre-engineering at this point. One is it's currently called Energy and Industrial Technology, but at the end of the school year, it's actually having a new name, which is Energy and Engineering Technology. So that one is a great one. That's a 2-year program. And then we also have Environmental Sustainability. That's a 1-year program. So the difference between those 2 is environmental sustainability is going to talk a little bit more about really environmental engineering a little bit. So understanding how to clean water and how to recycle water and how we can be more environmentally sustainable. Whereas energy and engineering technology is learning all about mechanical engineering, electrical, pneumatics, which is using air. It's using different computer systems to control all of those. And essentially, both of those will have job opportunities as an introductory level, but then there's the opportunity, obviously, to go to college to go engineering if you want. Normally, I recommend energy and engineering technology just because that one is a little bit more specific for engineering, but both of them are great opportunities. One of the programs that's kind of on the horizon is robotics. So that's another one that could be a good fit for students depending on really their goal. So those are our kind of more engineering programs. Great questions.
Do we offer any military training?
Oh, great question. So we don't offer military training. However, we do have this law and public safety and security program that we see some students in right now. So I'll kind of pop us in here really quickly so you can just see that. So we'll see. You'll see that there's a little bit of everything in here. So law, public safety, and security is really designed mostly for students to go into the police academy. So most of the things we're going to be talking about will be some physical training. We'll talk about Bill of Rights, constitutional law, how to deal with people in more challenging situations. We do have honor guard for this program as well. You'll see that they all have mock firearms, so they learn how to hold those properly and the safety protocols behind that. We do definitely have some opportunities from this program to go into military, because this does talk about chain of command. It has the physical training components. And some of those can be very, very beneficial in the military. Really just depends on the student and which route they want to go. So some students will go into police academy, some will go military, some will go to dispatch or corrections. So there's lots of different pathways. That's our law and public safety program. That's a 2-year program. They're having a kind of scenario day here today, so that's why they're all doing some cool things this morning. What? I can't see the battery life. Do you want to look on the front? The battery life of the GoPro? Okay, we're gonna pause really quickly. You're gonna see my face so I can check. Oh yeah, it does have 1 bar.
That's not good.
No. Okay, so we're gonna plug you in here so that we don't lose you. Yeah. We're gonna have to unplug this. Okay. Alrighty. Got some power now, I believe.